3 people walked onto the stage, smiling, but their eyes were already saying goodbye. Why did 3 people walk onto a bright stage with smiles that did not reach their eyes? No one knew the answer yet. The hall was large, bigger than it looked on screens. Lights hung high above, glowing white and warm. The floor shined like a mirror, reflecting shoes, shadows, and nervous movement. Rows of seats were filled with strangers, all waiting for something special. Some whispered to each other, some checked their phones. Some leaned forward, curious but unsure. At the center of the stage stood 3 figures, close together, almost too close, as if space itself felt unsafe. They looked calm from far away. Still, polite, ready. But something felt different. Their shoulders were tight. Their smiles were careful. Their hands shook just a little, not enough to notice unless someone was really watching. Behind the stage, far away from the lights and cameras, a woman sat quietly in her seat. She kept her hands folded in her lap. Her smile was gentle, but tired. The kind of smile that comes from habit, not energy. Her eyes followed the 3 figures closely, like she was afraid they might disappear if she blinked. No one noticed her yet. To the crowd, she was just another face. But to the 3 on stage, she was everything. They had grown up with music. Not the loud kind. Not the perfect kind. Just simple sounds filling small rooms. Sounds that bounced off old walls and worn furniture. Sounds that did not need permission to exist. A quiet house. Soft nights. Music was how they spoke when words felt heavy. When they were young, they played just for fun. Sometimes on broken instruments that could not stay in tune. Sometimes on nothing more than a table in their hands. They laughed when mistakes happened. They kept going when strings snapped or notes fell flat. The woman in the quiet house always listened, even when she was busy. Even when she was tired. She would stop what she was doing, look up, and smile. Sometimes she closed her eyes. Sometimes she clapped softly. Sometimes she said nothing at all. But that smile mattered. It told them they were seen. Years passed. Life became louder, faster, harder. Dreams grew heavier. Expectations followed them everywhere. Music stayed, but it changed. It was no longer only joy. It became a place to hide. A place to breathe. Then one day, everything slowed. The woman started coming home later, or sometimes earlier. She rested more. She sat down before standing again. Her laugh became softer, shorter. She said she was fine, always fine, even when her face said otherwise. The house felt different. The air felt heavier. No one said the word out loud at first. It stayed in the room, unspoken and heavy. The kind of word that changes a place just by existing. The kind of word people are afraid to touch. The 3 noticed the small things. A pause before standing. A hand on the wall for balance. A deep breath before smiling. Quiet moments alone in rooms that used to be full. They did not ask many questions. They watched. Nights became longer. The house grew quiet after sunset. Music returned, but now it came late. Berilate. Berilate. When the world outside was asleep. When the woman was resting. Or pretending to be. The 3 sat close together, whispering sounds into the dark. A few notes. Then silence. Then more notes. No lyrics. No plan. Just feeling. Something was forming. Not a song yet. More like a wait. Outside, the world moved fast. People rushed. Cars passed. Days ended quickly. Inside the house, time felt each day carried a strange heaviness. Normal things felt important now. Shared meals, soft jokes, sitting together without speaking. Moments felt fragile. The woman still smiled, always smiled. She told them to follow their dreams. She told them not to stop playing. She said their music mattered. She said not to worry about her. She said everything would be okay. They nodded. They smiled back. but worry lived deep in their chest, where words could not reach. One evening, rain tapped gently against the windows. The sound was soft and steady. The lights were low. The house smelled like warm tea and quiet comfort. The woman sat on the couch, wrapped in a blanket. Her hair rested gently on her shoulders. Her eyes looked far away. She looked peaceful, fragile, strong. All at once, the three watched her from the doorway. No one moved. No one spoke. The moment felt too important to interrupt. That night, the song began to take shape. Not with words, with silence, with pauses, with the things they could not say out loud. Days later, an unexpected door opened. A chance. A stage. A moment most people only dream about. Bright lights. Many eyes. A chance to be heard. The three looked at each other. Their hearts said yes. Their fears said no. This was not just a performance. This was not just music anymore. This was personal. Once shared, it could not be hidden again. They did not tell the woman everything. Only that they would perform. Only that it was important. Only that it meant something to them. She smiled again. That same smile. Proud. Loving. A little sad. The day arrived faster than expected. Too fast. Backstage felt cold. The walls were gray and empty. The air was thick, hard to breathe. Sounds echoed everywhere. Voices, laughter, footsteps, nervous breaths. The three stood together, hands touching, heads close. They felt smaller there, quieter. No one spoke. They could hear the crowd on the other side of the wall. A low hum, a restless sound. Waiting. The song was ready now, but not easy. This was not a song to impress, not a song to win. It was something else. Something private, something fragile, something that could break them open. Once shared, it could not be taken back. A voice called them forward. The lights grew brighter. As they walked onto the stage, the crowd clapped politely. Some smiled. Some looked unsure. Three ordinary people. No big movement. No loud confidence. Just three hearts walking into the open. In the audience, the woman leaned forward. Her hands tightened together. She did not know why her chest felt tight. She did not know why her eyes burned. She only knew she needed to listen. On stage, the three took their places. One breath, then another. The room went quiet. Too quiet. The first note had not even been played yet, and already something felt different. Have you ever heard a song that felt like it was written just for you? A melody that wrapped around you like a warm blanket on a cold night? It wasn't trying to start a revolution or solve the world's problems. It was just there, and in being there, it changed everything. Today, I want to talk about that kind of art, that kind of song, the kind that doesn't scream for attention, but whispers, I see you. Why did the first note feel heavier than the silence before it? No one moved. No one spoke. The room stayed still, like it was holding its breath. On stage, the three looked at each other one last time, not with words, just with their eyes. A quiet promise passed between them. Then the first sound came soft, nitlan, almost unsur. It was not loud enough to impress, not sharp enough to surprise. It floated into the room slowly, like it was afraid of being heard. People leaned forward. Something felt different now. The second sound joined the first. Then another. The music grew, not in volume, but in feeling. Each note carried weight. Not the kind you hear, but the kind you feel in your chest. The three did not look at the crowd. They looked inward. Their faces were calm, but their eyes were full. Not of fear now, but of something deeper, something close to truth. In the audience, the woman felt her chest tighten, her hands pressed together. She did not know why her heart was beating faster. She only knew this music felt familiar, too familiar. The song moved slowly. No rush. No hurry. It gave space to breathe. Space to remember. Images filled the room, even though no one spoke them out loud. Small houses, quiet nights, soft laughter, hands held during hard days. The woman's eyes filled with tears before she understood why. Halfway through the song, the words arrived. Simple words. Honest words. Not perfect, but real. They spoke of strength without using the word, of fear without naming it, of love that does not leave, even when it is tired. The woman's breath caught. Her mouth opened slightly. She knew now, this song was not just music. It was a mirror. It was everything they had not said. Every thank you. Every silent worry. Every moment they watched her and felt afraid. Her tears fell quietly. She did not wipe them away. She did not want to. On stage, one of the three closed their eyes for a moment. Another took a deeper breath. Their voices shook, but they did not stop. They kept going, because stopping would hurt more. The room was no longer a room. It felt smaller, closer. Like everyone inside it was sharing the same heartbeat. Some people in the crowd lowered their heads. Some pressed hands to their mouths. Some felt tears without knowing why. The song did not ask for attention. It earned it. Each note carried care. Each pause carried meaning. Silence between the words spoke just as loudly. The woman remembered the nights she stayed awake, listening to quiet sounds from the next room, the way they played when they thought she could not hear, the way they stopped when they thought she was awake. She smiled through her tears. They had been singing to her long before this stage. The final part of the song came gently. No big ending, no dramatic rise. Just honesty laid bare. The last note hung in the air. Tenet, for dead. For a moment, no one reacted. The silence returned. But this time, it felt warm. Then the room broke open. Applause rose slowly, then all at once. Not loud shouting, not wild cheering. Something deeper, something full. People stood without thinking. Hands clapped. Some wiped their eyes. Some simply nodded, like they had witnessed something important. On stage, the three stood still. Their shoulders relaxed for the first time. One of them let out a breath they did not know they were holding. They looked toward the audience. Toward her, their eyes met. Nothing else mattered in that moment. She stood up slowly. Her hands shook as she clapped. Tears ran freely now. She smiled wide, even through the pain, even through the fear. That smile reached her eyes. On stage, the three felt something lift. Not the worry, not the future, but the weight of holding everything inside. They had said it now, without saying it. After the applause softened, voices spoke from the front. Gentle words, respectful words, about courage, about love, about how some songs are bigger than stages. The three listened, but their minds were elsewhere. They were watching her. She nodded at them. Just once. A small nod, but it meant everything. Later, away from the lights, away from the noise, they came together. No cameras, no crowd, just them. She held each of them for a long time. Longer than usual, like she was memorizing the feeling. No one spoke. They did not need to. The song had already said enough. That night, the world felt different. Not easier, not fixed, but lighter, like something heavy had been shared instead of carried alone. The future was still uncertain. Days ahead still held questions. But now, there was also something else. Connection. Truth. Love spoken out loud, even without words. The three returned to their music with new meaning, not chasing noise, not chasing praise, just honesty. And the woman, she kept that song with her, in quiet moments. In hard days, in times when strength felt far away, it reminded her she was not alone. Not now. Not ever. Some people in the audience would forget the night, Others would remember the feeling, but not the faces. But for the three, and for her, that moment stayed. A song that did not try to change the world, only tried to say, we are here. We see you. We love you. And sometimes, that is enough. We live in a world that constantly demands more from us. Be bigger. Be louder. Be better. Change the world. Make an impact. Leave a legacy. And that's all well and good. Ambition is a powerful engine, but sometimes the pressure to be monumental is exhausting. We feel small against the backdrop of such grand expectations. We scroll through feeds of people seemingly changing the world one post at a time. And we wonder, what am I even doing here? It's in those moments of quiet doubt that a different kind of message can be the most powerful. Think about it. A song comes on the radio or pops up on your playlist. The lyrics don't offer a 10-step plan to success. They don't preach about global politics. Instead, they sing about the feeling of rain on a window pane, the bittersweet memory of a childhood friend, or the simply profound ache of loneliness. And suddenly, you're not alone in your quiet, ordinary feelings anymore. The artist, through their music, has reached across time and space to sit with you in that feeling. They haven't fixed your problems, but they validated your experience. They've said, we are here. We see you. We love you. And sometimes, that is more than enough. It's everything. This isn't a new idea, of course. For centuries, art has served this very purpose. A painter captures a fleeting expression on a face, and we see our own unspoken emotions reflected back. A poet writes about the changing of the seasons, and it helps us make sense of the transitions in our own lives. This art isn't about grand gestures. It's about connection. It's the sacred act of bearing witness to another's humanity, and in doing so, affirming our own. I remember a specific time in my life when things felt particularly heavy. Nothing was catastrophically wrong, but the weight of daily life felt immense. I felt invisible, like I was just going through the motions. And then I stumbled upon an album by an artist I'd never heard of. The songs were simple, acoustic, and deeply personal. They were filled with observations about the mundane taste of coffee in the morning, the way dust motes danced in a sunbeam. It sounds silly, but listening to that album was a turning point. It didn't magically solve my problems, but it reminded me that there was beauty and meaning in the small, quiet moments. It reminded me that my small, quiet life was worthy of a song. It told me, without using the words, we see you. That this is the magic, isn't it? The world tells us to be extraordinary, but these songs, these pieces of art, they celebrate the ordinary. They find the universe in a grain of sand. They understand that most of life isn't lived on the mountaintops of great achievement, but in the gentle valleys of everyday existence. The joy, the sorrow, the boredom, the love-its, all part of the human tapestry. And a song that simply acknowledges that tapestry is performing a profound service. It creates a space for us to just be. We don't have to perform. We don't have to pretend. We can be sad. We can be tired. We can be uncertain. The music holds that space for us without judgment. In a world that's always telling you to cheer up or look on the bright side, a song that says, it's okay to feel what you're feeling right now is a revolutionary act of compassion. It gives us permission to be human. Think of the artists who have had this impact on you. Maybe it was a folk singer from the 60s, a rapper from the 90s, or an indie artist you found online last week. They might not be household names. Their songs might not have topped the charts, but they reached you. They made you feel seen. Their work became a part of the soundtrack to your life, a quiet companion on your journey. This is the power we all have, not just artists. It's the power of presence. It's the phone call to a friend just to say, I was thinking of you. It's the simple act of listening to someone without trying to fix their problems. It's looking someone in the eye and letting them know that their story matters, that their feelings are valid. It's embodying that message. I am here. I see you. Love you. We often underestimate the impact of this quiet affirmation. We think we have to do something big and dramatic to make a difference. But maybe the most world-changing thing we can do is to make one person feel a little less alone. To create a small pocket of safety and understanding in a loud, demanding world. The song that doesn't try to change the world might, in its own quiet way, be the very thing that does. Because it changes worlds on an individual level, It fortifies a soul. It gives someone the strength to face another day. It reminds us that our individual experiences, our quiet heartbreaks, and our secret joys are all part of a shared human symphony. And being a part of that symphony is a beautiful, powerful thing. So next time you feel small or overlooked, I hope you find that song. The one that isn't trying to rally the troops, but is just there to hold your hand. And I hope you remember that you, too, can be that song for someone else. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to change the world. You just have to be willing to say, I'm here. I see you. I love you. Because sometimes that is the most powerful message of all. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear about the songs or artists that have made you feel seen. Let's share them in the comments below. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.